Hey, Miles Beckler here, milesbeckler.com, and in this video we are going to look into advanced audience retargeting through Facebook advertising. Now this again is an advanced video that we're going to cover some advanced topics, and you will need these if you're using your one Facebook pixel for multiple different websites. That's how they instruct you to use it. You only have one pixel for one ad account, and you only have one ad account for your one personal Facebook account. So if you have 6 different websites, you put that same tracking pixel on all 6 websites, and you use this tool that we're going to cover here in order to create a separate audience for each website. Also, if you have multiple funnels running on one website, you would use this same tool. And the reason you would have multiple funnels is for different kind of entrance points, right? For different problem solutions that all lead back to your same product, but there's different levels of awareness, different kind of funnels for the different level of awareness. This would allow you to retarget each separate funnel individually, all from the same website. And then thirdly, if you want to get really kind of fancy with your automation or with your retargeting, and you want to retarget people who reached certain pages but didn't reach other pages, this is how you would do this. And this tool, let's say if you wanted to retarget people who went to your checkout page but didn't reach the thank you page, you could segment them out and you could show them a specific ad. You can also retarget people who went to your opt-in page but didn't reach your thank you page, and you could either exclude them so they don't keep seeing your advertisement, or you could show them a different ad once they've made it to that step in order to kind of maybe offer them a different point of view or a different funnel entrance. So let's jump in. This is really powerful stuff, and you do need to have your Facebook pixel in place before you get this going, and you should be having data running to your Facebook pixel. So we obviously start here at the ads manager. Mine might look a little different because I use the business manager, but it's the same basic idea here. And then you click on all tools and you'll come over here to assets and you click on audiences. Then what we're going to do is we're going to choose to make a new audience, and it's the blue button up top, the create audience, and we want to do custom audiences. Now, we are focusing mainly here on the second one down, which is website traffic. And this is really kind of allowing you to compilate everything, all of the data that your pixel has kind of accumulated. And what that means is every time somebody loads your website when you have your pixel, that pixel's planted on their browser. So when that user goes back to Facebook with that browser, it will know if they're in one of these audiences depending on how you set this up. And that's what we're going to do. You won't have a drop down here on your pixel. I only have this because I've shared multiple pixels with myself. You should have one pixel, and so you shouldn't have a drop down. And then this is really where kind of the rubber meets the road for this tool, and it's this website traffic option. And you notice there's 4 main options, and then there's a custom combination option. I'm not going to go through all of the possibilities. If there's something that I don't cover here and you're like, oh, but Miles, would it work if this and that, but not this, and but that, but not this? The answer is probably, and if it does, it's under this bottom custom combination, which again, I'm not going to go into that too deeply right now because there's a lot we can do here, even in just the top 3. So obviously the first part, anyone who visits your website. This is key for you to, number one, if you have one main website and you just want to create a general retargeting audience, this is how you would go about it. If you have multiple different websites, then you would be able to use this same exact tool. So you notice it says choose a website domain and it's got the browse button. What this is doing is this is actually pulling all of the different locations that Facebook finds your pixel on. So you can see it's got my main website, askangels.com. It's got a Google content translate. So Google's obviously picking up and translating our content, and it's somehow picking up the pixel. I would never use that. And this is my shopping cart system. You can see that it's the samcart.com because I do have my pixel tracking all the way to my shopping cart, which is on a separate domain. So if you had 3 separate websites, website A, website B, website C, you would see them all here. You simply choose the one that you want, and then you can toggle how many days. I believe you can go up to 180 days, which is 6 months, and you can set it to include past website traffic. And that means if you've had your pixels set up for 3 or 4 months, all that data is available to you, and you can go in here in a few clicks, create an audience so you can retarget everyone who's been to your website within the last 180 days. I'm going to try to see if it'll let me do 360 because I don't know for a fact if it is. Okay, so I was correct. It is 180 days. So it lets you do about 6 months out, and that's it. And obviously, I would generally recommend using the include past website traffic. And this is why I've been such a proponent to just, as you start content marketing, as you start building things out, get your Facebook pixel in place right away, because you can come back and revisit this tool 1, 2, 3, 4 months later, and then you could have a big audience that you could retarget to. You can also turn these audiences into lookalike audiences, and you can really grow your reach leveraging these tools within Facebook. Cool. So you would give it an audience name. So this one I would do something like Ask Angels Visitors, right? Ask Angels Visitors all. Now, I'm not going to create these audiences, and that's because I have lots of audiences. As you can kind of see behind here, I've got dozens, if not over 100 audiences, and I don't want to mess up my audiences. You would simply click Create Audience, and then what happens is it goes on a line, and you'll have a little red dot, and it will not allow you to use it, or it might be blue at first, and it says, give us 30 minutes. We need to go compile all of that data. You simply go take a walk, come back, click refresh, and when it says ready, you're ready to go. So that's the first step, right? Which is super simple. And that is just the people who have visited your website option, which is a great place to start. It's good to have that because sometimes you don't want to target people who have already been to your website if you're doing a click to content based campaign, right? If you're simply promoting a blog post, don't focus on people who have already been to your website. Use that as a new opportunity to reach people who are out there who look like your visitors but haven't actually been to your website. And to do that, you would create a lookalike audience based on people who have been to your website. You would target that lookalike audience, but you would exclude people who have actually been to your website, and that would create a multi-million person audience of people who have a high likelihood of enjoying your content. Moving right along to the next option, people who visit specific pages. Now this is where we get really kind of deep and geeky, and this is where you can get really creative. I often find myself drawing out with a Sharpie and a notepad my plan of action here so I can have it visual before I come in and set this up. It's because that's how I do things. I'm kind of a visual person. I like whiteboards, so that's how I approach this. Now, what you can do with this tool is if you have multiple funnels on one website, right? And that would mean, let's say you have a diabetes-based website, or actually, let's say you have a golf-based website. It'll be a little bit easier for me to come up with a few funnels. And then funnel number 1 is for people who, do you have a hook or a slice? Right? Because if someone's curving the ball off their tee shot, whether it's a hook or a slice, they have a specific problem. So you can target those people on Facebook, send them through a funnel on, are you hooking or slicing, learn the 3 steps, and then when they're through it, you want to sell them a product that's going to solve that problem. You would use this and you would add the URL of the opt-in page that they reached for the hook or slice, right? And what I do here is I don't include the HTTP, I don't include the : / and I don't include the www. So it would simply be yourdomain.com/hook and slice. Now I made that up, right? Obviously, you would take your actual landing page exactly as it is, you would put it in, and again, leave off all the HTTP and the HTTPS, etc., etc. Again, I like to leave it at the maximum 180 days, and I would name this the hook and slice audience name, right? I would come up with something that's relevant to this audience that would allow me to understand who they are. And then what I would do is I would create this audience, I would go right back in, and I would start one for my longest drive. Are you feeling, for those landing pages that say, are you feeling like all your friends are out driving you on the golf links? Do you want to learn how to add 30 yards to your drive with one small shift in how you hold your shoulders? And that's the opt-in that you're giving them, and then you can retarget them with products and with info products and more information that's going to help them solve their biggest problem, which is different from the hook and slice people, and you can talk to them differently through your advertisements. So you run all your different ads and your different funnels on one website, building that one brand up in the eyes of every type of golfer, but yet you have your Facebook advertising and retargeting set up in such a manner that people who come into your ecosystem based on hooks and slices will see more content and offers to help them fix their hooks or slices. People who come in because they're not driving the ball as far as they want will see more offers and content based on how to drive the ball farther, right? Does that make sense? I hope you're tracking with me here, because there's a lot of power here. Another way you can use this is if you have a large content-based website. You can then have your retargeting pixel on all of your blog posts, and any of your blog posts that have to do with hooking or slicing, right? You can add that blog post in here, and then when a user finds your blog post from Google about how to solve the hook or the slice in their swing, when they go back to Facebook, you can then retarget them with your opt-in offer that's going to be a content upgrade to help them solve their problem of hooking and slicing the ball. The same applies to driving the ball longer and straighter, right? So you could say, if you have blog content that's getting 200, 300 visits per day from Google Organic, you could retarget those people when they go back to Facebook with a free offer, a paid offer, or something that offers them more of what they've already looked at on your website. Because you know the fact that they searched on Google how to hit the ball farther, then they found your content and they read through your page, you know that they're interested in hitting on longer drives. So you can retarget them with more information and products to help them accomplish that goal. Does that make sense? I think it does, and I think you're starting to get the power in this. So that's how you use this tool. And what I do is I consider all of my main verticals within my content, right? So we have this big website that has something like 1,000 different web pages, but in there, there's really about 4 to 6 different buckets that most people fit within. I set up retargeting audiences based on all of these buckets. And what it might end up looking like is this. So what I just did is I just added a few different domains. Again, this is an example domain. I don't have yourdomain.com. It's not a real golf domain, but I'm trying to show you what you do here is you add every single blog post or every single piece of content on your website. Could be pages, could be posts, could be squeeze pages, could be advertorials if you want. It doesn't really matter, but you take every page that you have about a specific topic and you grow one big audience here with this tool. And then you create the audience and you would name it, right? Like your domain / hook and slice visitors. Because they're not leads, they're just visitors at this point. And then we would save this audience, takes a half hour, and then boom. What we can do once this is created is you can go in and create a custom lookalike audience based on this, and Facebook will say, okay, you have 15,000 people who have all visited these pages. Then Facebook has 160 data points on all of us, and it says, all right, so of these 15,000 people who visit your website, they're all kind of like this, and you can go create an audience of 2.1 million people in the USA who are most similar to the people who have visited this page, allowing you to grow and expand your audience based on Facebook's data, right? Facebook is by far the most kind of aggressive data miner on people in the world, right? It's actually mildly scary when you learn at how much data Facebook gathers on all of us. But here as an advertiser, you actually get to leverage that data, and you get to leverage the big kind of machine that is Facebook's data aggregation system. And you could say, hey, Facebook, here's 15,000 people who really like this content. Show me 2 million people just like them. And guess what happens when Facebook does that is you get a really targeted audience of people who have a very high likelihood of liking more of your golf content. And it's a better audience to split test to than to go simply focused on interests and age demographics. It's a little bit more targeted, and that's why running this pixel and doing these custom audiences is so powerful for you in your business. I hope this is making sense. And again, if you have separate funnels, then you would be able to use one audience per funnel. If you have blog posts and funnels about certain topics, if you have 4 main topics that your website covers, boom, this is how you go about it. If you're a weight loss site and you have fat burning content, muscle building content, recipes, you could then create audiences based on all of those, create lookalike audiences. You can retarget these, you can target new audiences, and you can give them content similar to what they're going to like, which increases your conversions, it lowers your cost, it increases your relevance score. Everything in marketing works better when you use some of these advanced tactics. All right, let's keep going because this is not the only one. We got one more really cool tool that I want to show you all within this tool. And this is people who have reached certain pages but not other pages. Now this is where you can take someone who has entered your sales funnel, right? They went to your checkout page, but they didn't make it to your thank you page. So this means they read your sales letter, they were interested enough in what you're offering to click the buy now button. They went to your checkout page, but they didn't finish checking out for some reason. Maybe they were standing in line at the grocery store and it was their turn to start interacting with the clerk who works at the grocery store. They put their phone away. They didn't really think about it. They went back home later. They opened up their browser. They didn't remember where they were at, and they left. And all you need to do is retarget that person with another ad saying, hey, didn't you want to get that thing? Or you could retarget them with saying, hey, I noticed you were interested in our product XYZ. Do you want 15% off? Use code Facebook is cool at checkout, and then you could try to reintroduce them, giving them discounts to get them back into your content. So how you would do that here is you would include people who visit your actual checkout page, right? So yourdomain.com/checkout, and people who do not visit I probably thought of the longest possible thank you page name right there. Okay, so this is how you would set this up, right? So it's people who have been to this page but have not been to this page. And if you're wondering what's another way to try to retarget them without actually giving them a discount, maybe you're doing drop shipping, maybe your margins are really thin, or maybe you just don't want to devalue your product. I totally get it. Or maybe your shopping cart can't handle coupon codes. I totally get it. What you can do is run what I like to call a 3 reasons why ad and also a customer testimonial ad. The 3 reason why ad is based on the philosophy that most of the time when people do not purchase from you, the reason for that is they didn't have enough information. It's an education issue. They haven't moved far enough along into the phases of being a prospect to where they actually are problem aware, they're not fully solution aware, they're not sure they're product aware yet, they're still solution aware. So if you can give them an ad that gives them the 3 reasons why your widget solves their biggest problem, that can be enough to bridge the gap from solution awareness to product awareness, and your product is the one they're aware of in solving the problem that they know they have, and then you can get them to actually conduct the checkout. And on this kind of an ad, I would link them either to the sales page or directly to the checkout page. I would test both. It depends on the circumstances in that situation. Another way you can use this, so there was the 3 reasons why, there's also the customer testimonial ad. And this is to just go collect the testimonials and say, hey, check out what our other customers have been saying about our product. And you can literally make a really long ad that's just got testimonial after testimonial. Samcart did a study and they found that 5 testimonials on the checkout page was actually the sweet spot. They got lower conversions with 3 and lower conversions with 7. The highest conversions was at 5 testimonials. So you might try 5, but again, you're going to need to test that for yourself and find out what exactly works best. And this is also very true for the same thing with your opt-in page, right? Someone who reaches your opt-in page, so like yourdomain.com /free thing. I'm getting creative with my URLs here. So like somebody who goes to the free item, right, your opt-in page, but they don't make it to your thank you page because they didn't actually opt in. You can create a separate audience around these people, and the first thing I would do is I would exclude them from your original ad set. And that's because if someone clicks on your ad, doesn't take an action, there's no need to keep showing them the same ad. The odds of them kind of actually converting on a second time go down so much that you can cause more harm getting yourself negative feedback on your ad because they're like, I'm tired of seeing this. Stop showing me this ad. I already said I didn't want this, right? So if you exclude this audience from your main lookalike audience that you're marketing to, you won't have that problem, because once they click and visit your landing page, your opt-in page, they'll automatically be removed or excluded from seeing that ad again. Then what you can do is show them a separate advertisement that takes a different approach. So in the golfer idea again, right, you could have the hook or slice. Hey, do you have a problem with your hook or slice? Click here and we'll show you the 3 secrets. They click, they look, they didn't opt in. Great, they're removed from the hook and slice audience, but now they can see the drive the ball longer ad for the drive the ball longer. And you can literally attempt them on funnel 1, then attempt them on funnel 2, and then attempt them on funnel 3 to see if maybe a different approach, a different problem and solution is actually what they're interested in. What's really cool about this, it takes a little bit of setup to get it all right, but once you get this set up, you're simply focused on bringing in the top level of traffic right into the first step, and then it does the sorting for you, and you can track on all 3 of these funnels and all 3 of these click-through rates which approach, which angle seems to get the highest click-through rates on your ads and which ones get the highest opt-in rates. And that can actually help you identify what your most valuable approach is. And sometimes running 3 separate funnels for a while will simply show you that funnel C is doing so much better than A and B. Eliminate funnels A and B and only focus on the one that's working with all of your advertising dollars. It takes testing to know what actually works, and these are kind of some ways you can use their custom audiences to do that sort of testing. Another way you can do this that's really fun is you can do someone who made it to the thank you page for opting in, right? So thanks for subscribing page, but they did not make it to the cool product page. So now you can also target people, and this is essentially a leads audience who has not even seen a sales message. Got me? So when someone's a lead and hasn't even seen a sales message, you can attempt to display an advertisement to them for a product that's going to solve their biggest problem. Now, if you have an OTO in place, which is a one-time offer that displays the moment that they opt in, they've already seen an offer. But if you don't have that in place, you can use an audience like this to, once you do have an OTO, you can then go retarget everyone who became an opt-in but hasn't seen that or any other products yet through this kind of an audience. It's a really powerful marketing mechanism. And that, I think, is going to conclude it for this video. I wanted to show you this create audience area because this stuff is really, really powerful. There is, again, people who haven't visited in a certain amount of time. So if you have a site that, if you want to target people who were at your site 6, 5, 4 months ago but haven't been there for 3 months, this is how you would do that. I'm personally not using that, so I'm not really an expert. I don't see how that fits into my business, but if you have that fitting in your business, obviously you can set that up for yourself. And then again, there's custom combinations where you can get geeky with it, and you can set your own terms and your own conditions. I'm not going to get into this. This is hyper advanced stuff, and I think for most people, this one right here is when they're visiting certain pages but they're not visiting other pages, is a really powerful way for you to segment your audiences, and then you have a separate ad set that displays to different audiences. So your first audience is someone who's never been to your website. Then you have people who have been to your opt-in page, you have an audience of people who are leads, and you have an audience of people who are customers. And through these tools here, you can identify all of these people very, very specifically. Then you can go create lookalike audiences. You can remove them from the audience. You can exclude them from your marketing campaigns. So you're not showing your, hey, go get my free thing ads to people who are already leads and customers. That's so important because it's going to increase your relevance. It's going to increase your click-through rate. Everything in your advertising is going to work better. And then, of course, you can create lookalike audiences. That is just a major way to expand your audiences to find more people on Facebook who want what you have. I believe Facebook's approaching 2 billion users. The volume of traffic available on this marketplace and the number of individuals who are interested in whatever niche it is you're doing is massive. I don't care if you're doing cupcake decorating kits or golf stuff or specific like shoelaces that tie themselves. I don't even know what, there's so many niches available here, and you just got to structure your content in a way and structure your retargeting in a way that helps people move themselves through their actions and what pages they visit on your site. Allow them to help themselves to move through your funnel, and this is how you automate that entire process. This is an advanced technique. I do highly recommend getting to this point with your business and with your Facebook advertising, because this is really where you kind of get to out-geek your competitors, and you get to make sure that your messaging is matching your visitors at every step of their awareness and at every step of your funnel, constantly in an automated fashion, moving your visitors deeper and deeper into your funnel. You can even set up a custom audience here for customer who purchased your OTO, right? So this could be a thank you for purchasing, and then people who have not seen your high ticket product yet. So when someone has bought but hasn't been to your webinar registration page yet, they would then automatically, after they purchase, they would start to see your webinar registration ads up all over Facebook, or they would see the ads that lead them into your high ticket product or your coaching or your membership or your higher ticket items. So literally at every step of your funnel is as creative as you can be, and it depends on how you've structured your funnel, right? But if you want automation and Facebook to A, give you bigger audiences of highly targeted people based on the people already taking action within your funnel, this is the tool for that. And B, if you want Facebook to automatically move people into different and deeper steps within your funnel, 100% automated, this is how you set up those audiences. And it takes a little bit of time. And again, I recommend kind of drawing it out. Make sure you kind of mapped out people who did this and didn't do this will see this ad set. People who did this and didn't do this will see this ad set. I write it all out first. I get all my names done. That way when I'm actually implementing it, and if I have to go to bed and wake up and start the next day, I can kind of look down at my notepad, which is like my roadmap, and then I can look in my ad campaign, my ad manager, and be like, okay, what did I get done? Where am I? Because it can get a little confusing if you bite off a lot. It's totally doable, and it's 100% worth it. I thank you very much for your time in watching this Facebook advertising tutorial. I hope you found this kind of custom audiences and this next level custom audiences for retargeting audiences to be really powerful. This has absolutely been a game changer. And you can see, I mean, just to show you real quick, like this is how many audiences I have. So many audiences. I got to scroll way over here to get my down arrow, but like I can't show it all at once. But when I say I use this and have been using this tool and these audience tools for a long time, I am not kidding. I have literally hundreds of audiences in here, and that has 100% been a big part of why we've been so successful. So I thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. If you enjoyed this video and you're fired up on Facebook advertising and these custom audiences, give me a thumbs up here. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer if and when I have time to do so. And again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to connecting with you in another video. Be well.